You don't want to rush it and be popping it up like this, or you don't want to go slow on the way up and then drop it on the way down, because then you're defeating the whole purpose of time under tension. That's really what's going to get you those gains. So you really want to control it.
We about to make a killing. Ay, we about to make a killing. Yeah. We about to make a killing. Oh.
What's poppin', people of the internet? It's your boy. We are back for yet another workout video. Workout number 4 on my YouTube channel. If you want to go see the other ones, check them out. If you want to see the future videos coming up, subscribe to the channel. Today we are going to be smashing some legs. So I normally do 3 quad exercises, 2 hamstring exercises, and I end off with 1 calf exercise because can't forget those calves, obviously. Pretty complete workout. We'll run through some basic exercises, some of my favorites, and yeah, that's about it. Without further ado, let's get started. Exercise number 1, I always like to start with some leg extensions just to really warm up the quads, get them ready for those heavy lifts. So let's show you what that looks like. Pretty straightforward. You want to sit into the bench, set it up in a way that's good for you. So then you essentially want to put your legs over these pads, and then your shins should go underneath the lower pads. From there, you want to grip onto the handles that are on the side, or place your hands wherever it's comfortable for you. And you essentially extend your legs and slowly make your way back down. You don't want to lift your hips off your bench. You don't want to lift your butt off the bench. You really want to keep your butt glued to the seat. Keep your hips down, because that's really going to allow you to activate the quads to the fullest. And you do a full extension. When you get to the top, you want to really contract your quads. Give it a nice squeeze and slowly control it. Make your way back down. So 1, 2, squeeze at the top. Hold for a quick second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly make your way down, and again. All right. So you want to just find the position that's comfortable for you, where you feel the best contraction in your quad, and you want to just stick to that position. Try not to move from there, other than just extending your legs, and give it a nice squeeze at the top. It's a really key component. You really want to feel that contraction in the quads, and then control it on the way down. Obviously, the eccentric is very important. A lot of people, they tend to just drop it and they're going way too fast, but it's really about maintaining that control and that proper time under tension. You want to start with your 2 warm-up sets, one with light weight, going for 12 to 15 reps. The second one with slightly heavier weight, about 6 to 8 reps. And then you start with the working sets, the first one being the rest pause set, where you stay at 1 working weight and you go until failure, aiming for at least 12 reps. And then you give yourself 15 to 20 seconds. You go back to the machine, perform another set, and now you're aiming for at least 6 reps. So always half the amount of reps that you just performed on the previous part of the set. So if you started off doing 12 reps, you give yourself 15 to 20 seconds with the same weight. You go back and you try and hit 6, but again, going until failure. Then you give yourself another 15 to 20 seconds, and you go back and you try and get at least 3 reps. So 12, 6, 3. Those are normally the numbers that I aim for, but always going until failure. And if you find yourself far exceeding those numbers, then you know you can probably adjust the weight, go a little bit heavier, still maintaining the control. You don't want to be wild and be dropping it quick. You really want to 2 seconds on the concentric and 4 seconds on the eccentric. So 2 seconds on the way up, 4 seconds on the way down. The eccentric is where you get a lot of those strength gains. It's really about controlling it on the way down. That's like the biggest priority for me. So that's essentially how you do the exercise. You get into position, keep your hips down, keep your butt glued to the bench. You squeeze on the way up, hold it for a quick second, really feel that contraction in the quads, and then slowly make your way back down. Stretch and contract, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, squeeze, and slowly make your way down. All right? So again, the first working set will be the rest pause set, and then the second working set is a drop set. So again, the set is divided in 3 parts. You start with your first working weight, you go until failure, then with no rest, you drop the weight, come right back to the bench, go until failure again, and then for the third part, you drop weight again, and you come right back to the bench, you perform the exercise until failure, and that's your drop set. So you want to carry that into every exercise that we're doing. All right? So that would be exercise number 1. Now moving on to the second exercise. Exercise number 2 is going to be the hack squat, one of my favorites, a huge staple exercise for building your legs. So you get into position. All right? Here you want to get your pads over your shoulders, and then you either will have handles. In my case, I just kind of grab onto the upper part of the pad. All right? And then you push off of the platform down here, and then you need to make sure that you're pulling whatever contraption is going to allow you to fully perform the exercise, right? This will stop the whole machine from going down. You see, it stops right here. So you got to make sure whatever it looks like on the machine that you're using, that you're getting it out of the way so you're able to do the full range of motion. In this case, you kick this up like so, and now we're ready. All right? You want to have your feet firmly planted, all right, on the platform. Drive with your heels, all right? Arch your lower back a little bit. Always keep your chest open, and then you're performing a squat. Hinge at the hips, go all the way down, and then make your way up. Squeeze, contract your glutes, contract your quads. Give yourself a second at the top, and then slowly control it, making your way down. And squeeze. All right? So here, you really want to have a lot of the weight driving through your heels, right? So when I'm down here, it does shift a little bit forward, but I'm constantly trying to keep the weight onto my heels, all right? And now you push, make your way up, and slowly make your way down. So again, you're hinging at the hips, right? You want to keep a light arch in your lower back, right? And I'm kind of using my butt against the pad behind me. I'm pushing my butt into the pad. I could fit a hand right in my lower back, right? So you want to have that slight arch. Then you're slowly making your way down. You want to just kind of have your legs shoulder width apart. Again, arch your lower back, push your butt into the pad, and slowly hinge at the hips right here, all right? Bend your knees, make your way down, and contract, drive with the heels, contract your glutes and your quads, hold it for a quick second, and slowly make your way down. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right? And then once you're done with the set, you want to lock these back into place and drop it. All right? So again, starting with your warm-up set, your second warm-up set, then your rest pause set, and then your drop set. All right? So that's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3 is going to be the inverted leg press, right? Another staple exercise for building your legs, one of my favorites for sure. So same concept. You want to plant your feet firmly on the plate above you. Get the safety bars out of the way, all right? And then from there, you get into position, arch your lower back, keep your chest nice and open. Place your hands either on the handles or wherever it feels comfortable for you. Sometimes I like to reach back like this, right? Or sometimes I like to have my hands down by my side. So just find where it's comfortable for you. Lock into place. And then from there, you hinge at the hips. Slowly bring it down to your chest and squeeze on your way up. All right? Pretty straightforward. You want to drive through your heels. From here, you get a nice stretch on the quad. You're going to feel it a little bit in the hamstrings and the glutes as well. And then you press up, squeeze, hold it for a second, feel a nice contraction, and slowly control it on your way down. Hinge at the hips. You want your knees to be in line with your feet. You don't want them to be out like this. You don't want them to be in. You really want them to be stacked over your ankles, all right? So you bring your knees to your chest, get a nice stretch, and squeeze, right? Sometimes I'm using my hands and pulling to feel that extra contraction. For whatever reason, when I pull in, right, and I keep my butt and my hips firmly against the pad, I just feel a better contraction when I'm pulling here. And then squeezing on the way up, hold it for a split second, and 1, 2, 3, 4, full stretch, and 1, 2, squeeze, and slowly start to make your way down, right? So again, slight arch in your lower back. Really, the key factor is hinging at the hips here, and obviously bending your knees. Here you get a full stretch in the quad, some nice pressure on the hamstrings, and drive through the heels. Make sure you have a nice base foundation with your feet, all right? And again, squeeze. You don't want to rush it and be popping it up like this, or you don't want to go slow on the way up and then drop it on the way down, because then you're defeating the whole purpose of time and retention. That's really what's going to get you those gains. So you really want to control it. Maintain that slow tempo, control the weight, and squeeze on the way up, right? And then once you're done the set, you bring the safety bars back into place and you drop it. And that's pretty much how you perform the exercise, right? So that's pretty much it for the quad portion of the workout. Now moving on to the hamstrings. All right, next up, we're going to be doing a seated one-legged leg curl, all right? So instead of doing it with both legs at the same time, you want to do one leg at a time. So you do both warm-up sets with one leg, and then your rest pause set, followed by your drop set, all with one leg, and then you move on to the next leg, same thing, doing both your warm-up sets, then the rest pause set, and then you do the drop set as the last working set, all right? So same thing as if you're doing it with both legs, but you're only putting one leg onto the actual machine, and the other leg you can keep planted on the floor, all right? From there, you curl in, squeeze, slowly make your way out, control it, keep your hips down, keep your butt glued to the bench, and squeeze. You really want to feel that contraction at the bottom of the rep, right? You don't want to just curl it and then let it go. Especially on this exercise, I find if you bring it down and squeeze it, then you're really going to feel a nice contraction on the hamstring. So you want to hold it here and contract for a split second and slowly start to make your way back out and then squeeze your way back in, all right? So I have my right foot planted on the floor, but still keeping my chest open, my hips down, my butt glued to the bench, and squeezing on the way in, feeling that nice burn on the hamstring, and slowly making your way out, all right? So 1, 2, squeeze for a quick second. I feel a nice burn on the hamstring, and slowly make your way back out. Squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Once I've done both warm-up sets and both working sets, then I move on to my right leg and I do the same thing, right? So squeeze, slowly make my way back out. Try not to move your body other than the motion that's required for the exercise. Keep your hips down, keep your butt down. Squeeze it here for a quick second to really feel that contraction, and then slowly make your way back out and in. Squeeze, really feel the burn, and slowly make your way out. All right. So that's exercise number 4 of the workout. First hamstring exercise. Moving on to the second hamstring exercise. All right. So for the second and last hamstring exercise of the day, we're going to be doing a Smith machine deadlift. All right. Easily one of my favorites. I like to do deadlifts on the Smith machine even more than with a free weight with a barbell, because I like that it really isolates your hamstrings. You get to pull back on the bar while you're performing the exercise. I'll show you what I mean. All right. So you want to put your warm-up weight on first. Obviously, do your 2 warm-up sets and then your 2 working sets. For a starting position, you want to get your legs pressed up against the bar. And then from there, you want to feel a nice, firm base foundation with your feet. All right. And then you slowly hinge at your hips. All right. The bar should be passing like an inch in front of your knees and staying an inch in front of your shins. All right. You try to keep your chest up and open up your chest. Here I feel a crazy contraction all along my hamstring here. And then you drive through the heels and squeeze your glutes into the bar on the way up. All right. So again, the bar shouldn't be too far away from your shins. You hinge at the hips, feel a nice pull in your hamstrings. Your knees are slightly bent, and pull with your hamstrings and squeeze. Drive with your heels, squeeze with your glutes on the way up. And what I was saying before is I like to actually pull back. Right now I'm pulling on the bar. I'm not just bringing the bar down, but I'm actually pulling the bar back. All right, hinging at the hips, sitting back into it, and pulling up with my hamstrings and squeezing with my glutes once I get to the top of the rep. All right. And squeeze. So control it on the way down. Try and keep your lower back slightly arched. Hinge at the hips. Try and keep your shoulders back and your chest open. Feel a nice stretch on the hamstrings and squeeze on the way up. All right. I'll show you guys what it looks like with me facing the other way. So again, you bring your thighs right up to the bar. All right. Get a nice base foundation with your feet about shoulder width apart. And then you're pulling back on the bar. You're almost sitting back, right? Like you're sitting into a bench or into a chair. And then you're pulling upwards and forward, all right? And squeezing your glutes on the way up. Control it on the way down. Hinge at the hips, sit back into it. Try and keep your shoulders back and your chest open. And pull with your hamstrings, squeeze with your glutes at the top for a quick second, and then slowly make your way back down. Here, you should feel all the weight in your heels, all right? And a nice stretch in your hamstrings. And then you're pulling back, you're pulling the bar back with your body, so you really get that nice isolation and contraction on your hamstrings, and then squeeze with your glutes at the top of the rep. All right. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knees slightly bent, fully hinged at the hips, sitting back into it, using your arms and your upper body to pull the bar back, which gives you a real good isolation on the hamstrings. And then you're pulling with the hamstrings. I feel a really good contraction while I'm coming up all along here. And then once you get to the top of the motion, you squeeze your glutes into the bar, right? And then again, and squeeze, all right? So that's the second and last hamstring exercise of the workout. Now we move on to the bonus exercise, which will be calves. Last exercise of the day will be the seated calf raise with both legs. All right. So pretty straightforward exercise. You want to get the front part of your feet on the platform at the bottom. Get these pads nicely secured over your thighs, slightly behind your knees. Push the bar up, get this safety bar out of the way. And then from there, you're getting a full stretch on the calf by bringing your heels close to the floor and then pushing your heels as far up as you can and feeling a good contraction in your calf. You really want to hold it at the top for a quick second and then slowly make your way down to get a full stretch. Get your heels as close to the floor as you can and then drive up, squeeze, feel that contraction, get a good pump on the calves and slowly make your way down. Calves are obviously a very stubborn muscle to grow, so I generally go for more volume, more reps than I do on other exercises. So generally speaking, let's say on the rest pause set, I'll go for more than 12 reps. I'll go for 8 to like 24 reps, then wait the 15 to 20 seconds, and then try to get to about 12 to 15 reps. And then on the third part of the set, I'll try to get to 8 to 10 reps, but obviously always going until failure. But you want to make sure that you're getting that volume because it takes that amount of reps to actually feel a good pump, to really feel that contraction on your calves, all right? So again, squeeze on the way up, hold it for a quick second, really feel that burn, and slowly control it, make your way down, get a full stretch of the calf by bringing your heels down, and drive with your toes, squeeze that calf, all right? And towards the end of a set, sometimes if I feel like I don't have the strength in my calf to maintain that slow tempo, then I'll start to speed it up and I'll just do pulses like this until it burns so much to the point where I just can't even hold on to it anymore. So that's where I mean, like, you might end up going for a lot more volume than just the 12 to 15 reps. Always go until failure and always start off by keeping that slow tempo, 2 seconds on the way up and 4 seconds on the way down. But once you get towards the end of the set, closer to 20 reps, then you can really start to pulse it and really feel that burn to the point where it just feels like unbearable, and then you drop it, all right? So that's typically how I go about doing this exercise, all right? So that's the last exercise of the day. All right, guys, so that wraps it up for today's workout. We did a full leg workout, 3 quad exercises, 2 hamstring exercise, and topped it off with 1 calf exercise at the end. Normally, I like to do 9 exercises on the upper body days, but on the leg days, I do less exercises because A, they're a lot more taxing. They require more rest in between sets. They take a little bit longer to set up, and it's just so exhausting and so taxing on the body to do legs that I normally just do 6 exercises, and it still takes me the same amount of time as 9 exercises on an upper body day would take me. So if I was to do 9 leg exercises, I'd literally be in the gym for like 3 hours, which, you know, I don't really want to be doing. So yeah, I typically will do less exercises on the leg days. It seems like it would be a shorter day because there's less exercises, but because of the fact that I do naturally take more rest in between each set and also between each exercise, and it takes me longer to actually set up each exercise, then it ends up being the same amount of time as any other day where I end up doing 8 or 9 or sometimes 10 exercises, all right? So that pretty much wraps up the video. If you liked the workout, like the video. If you have any questions or any comments, hit that comment section. Obviously, hit the bell icon if you want to be notified for when my future videos drop. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along this fitness YouTube journey of mine. I'm going to be coming out with many, many more videos, hopefully useful for you guys and applicable to your workouts. If you could think of anyone that you might want to share these workout videos with and you think it might help them out in their weekly routines and their lives, then please do so. Share it and send it to whatever friends and family members that you can think of. I greatly appreciate it. Again, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along this journey. And that about wraps it up for today. All right. So we'll catch you on the next video. All right. Peace.